the red dot's on, but the green light's not on.
Well, when you just did that, something turned on in my ear.
Oh.
Whatever you just did, I hear it's like a buzzing in my ear. Hello? Hello?
No. This green light's usually on, it's not. Now the green light's on now. Hello? No. What? I don't have a thingy. I don't have one.
Talking to your mic.
Hello?
Hello? Hello?
Hello?
Talking to your mic.
Hello?
Hello? Hello? I think I can hear myself now, I think, in my headphones.
Oh, you good?
I think so, yeah.
I can hear me.
How close are you normally talking? Like this? Are you all up on a mic?
Oh, not all of them.
Yeah,
No.
talking to your mic.
No.
Hello?
Should I use this one?
Talking to your mic.
Hello? No. I can tell when it's working because I can hear it in the headphones. It's not. Hello? Hello? Hello?
Hello?
I hear him. But like from over there, not
Yeah.
through here.
Talking to your mic.
Hello? 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 Hello?
Hey.
Just use this one.
Alright, that's nice.
You're gonna move your chair, not the mic.
Yeah, I know. Hello? No.
Yeah, I hear you
Hello?
on my phone.
You hear me?
But talk.
Maybe it's the headphones.
I think I hear you on my headphone.
Hello? 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 Hello?
Yeah, I think I'm good.
You're good?
I think so.
I'm not good. I think it's the headphones because I think I can hear my voice, but then I don't hear it.
Give me the wire for the headphones.
It's this one.
Yeah,
Hello?
Yeah.
You heard that?
Yeah.
See, and I can't hear myself. I need to hear me or I'm not gonna. I can't
You
do
really
it.
don't have to. You don't need the headphones.
Yeah, but then I can't hear him. Talk to me.
Hello.
No, I could only hear him like like in a
Distance.
low distance.
From a distance.
Talking to the.
Hello? Hello? Hello?
I don't know.
Should I change headphones?
You're experiencing technical difficulty.
Yeah, this has been going on. Should I use those? Take this out so people know that these suck. Hello? Hello? Talk to me.
Hey, can you hear me now?
No. It's just like a muffle. Something's wrong.
You don't.
What am I gonna do? I can't hear him.
You could take them off and talk as long as you don't have any callers. I mean, you don't need the headphones.
That's weird.
You want to try this?
I'll try it. Do you want me to try this one? I'll try one more.
It's not good.
Put this one in. I don't know. In the first one? Let's try this one. Hello? Hello? No. Okay.
The opinions expressed by the hosts, callers, and guests are not those of DGVRadio.com, Envisage Productions LLC, its advertisers, sponsors, or employees.
Good morning, everybody. This is Valerie Stetch from Blue World, Uncensored. We changed the name, and we're going to have a whole new site. So for those of you listening, it's www.blueworlduncensored.com. But you still could go on the old site, and it'll just redirect you to the new site. So we're Blue World Uncensored, and with DDV Radio. And you know, we're making great changes with doing live video and streaming. And so hopefully everything works out great. And my guest today is Peter Femia, and he's a correction officer in Union County Jail. And he's going to tell you about himself. But first, we wanted to send our condolences to the Callahan family. Sergeant Megan Callahan was murdered in the jail by an inmate, and it's very sad. And she was a young officer, and in North Carolina, Bertie County Correctional Facility. We send our condolences out to the correction officers there and all our Blue brothers and sisters, and also, excuse me, to Delaware Trooper Stephen Ballard. That was a horrible situation, and it just seems like every day it's a different one. But you know, we just have to be vigilant and stick together, and you know, be alert and stay alive. So, with that, my guest. Good morning, Peter. How are you?
I'm very good. How are you doing, Val?
Great. So, Peter has an interesting story. He's been on a job since 1994. Funny, we came on at the same time, and he's still working. Thank God, right?
Yeah, I'm still on the job. Another 2 years to go.
2 years to go. And that's what I wanted to talk about too. At the end, you know, you're coming close to the end. And what do you see yourself doing? If you see yourself retiring, or if you see yourself, you know, doing something else, or do you see yourself staying? You know.
Yeah, well, no, I don't see myself staying. I think when you do 25 years behind the walls, that's plenty of time, and that's not something I would want to expand upon. And 25 years is the goal.
Oh, okay. Well, I don't. You know what? That's a difficult job. I don't even know how you do 25 years.
Well, when I started that job, I was about 25, 26 years old, and it's definitely a young man's profession, or a young person's profession, I should say. It's like going into another world. You know, you enter another world for 8 to 16 hours a day, and but after 20 some odd years, it does wear on you. So 25 years for me, it would be the max.
Right, definitely. I don't blame you. First of all, it doesn't pay to stay. You actually lose money to stay. So it doesn't make sense. You'll be making more money staying home.
That's a nice little fantasy I like to think about.
You won't have to pay into your pension. I know people believe we don't, but we do. You know, you don't have to pay all your dues, your PBA dues, your this and that,
Sure, it adds
traveling
up.
back and forth to work.
Right.
So you basically will be saving a lot of money for cigars.
Cigars are not cheap. Let's face it. That's what overtime is for. A good quality cigar. It helps with the stress.
This guy is into his cigars and his Yankees.
Cigars and Yankees are two of my extreme pleasures in life. Like I said, we actually started a little cigar club, a law enforcement cigar club called the Brotherhood of Ash, where law enforcement guys get together to calm down a little bit and enjoy a cigar and just relax, and it's a good thing.
Like, where do you go to do that?
Well, you know what? We pick a different cigar place every month. There's a place in Clifton called Jamie's Cigar Bar, which is fantastic. But we'll go to different places, especially once the weather gets nicer and you can go to outdoor
outside.
places. And you know, we have members of Port Authority also. We have members from Elizabeth PD and different departments that also come with the correction officers. And it's a good time. It's a good time to get away and just relax, smoke cigars, and unwind.
Is that what it does for you?
The Brotherhood of Ash. That's correct.
It relaxes you?
It is very relaxed.
I don't know. I just don't see like the joy of just sitting around smoking a cigar
You
with
can't
a whole
possibly
bunch of guys.
understand it. Did I mention that no women are allowed? You cannot enter.
No women allowed. Wait a second.
Yes. I forgot to bring that into it. Yes, we understand the beauty of that time alone. Just bonding.
Women, we
and
don't
smoking a good
understand
cigar.
that. We understand going to Louis Vuitton store.
Yes, it's a different way of de-stressing. And ours also involves some fine whiskey and bourbon too. So
Oh,
it
there you
completes
go.
the picture.
There you go. I know we saw each other at a cigar.
That's correct. Michael
Please.
Sika had a fundraiser, and that was
Right.
down ashore. It was a good time.
Yeah, I was surprised to see you there because you're from. Well, I didn't realize you live close to me. I thought you lived up here.
Well,
So-
I'm Mr. Commuter. Whenever
Yeah,
it's
you go
some-
wherever,
I'm
right?
constantly driving, so wherever it is in New Jersey, it's a good cause. We try to get out.
That's true. That's nice. So now, just tell us about yourself before your corrections career, and in your law enforcement, and you know, tell us about you growing up. Where'd you grow up, and how did you grow up?
My parents came here from Italy, and I was born in Elizabeth, New Jersey. I got raised mostly in Rawway. Graduated from Rawway High School. Wanted to get into criminal justice. Wasn't the best student, but spent a little bit of time going to school for criminal justice. And my father was working for maintenance in the county of Union. And he said to me, you know what you got to do? You got to go to the jail because everybody making the bigger money in the jail. And I was like, Pop, I don't know.
love it.
I was like, Pop, I don't know. You know, jail. And he goes, I tell you, they got the boat, they got the car, they got the motorcycle. So I said, all right. So, you know, I took the civil service test. I knew nothing
You did
about
that voice really well.
I knew nothing about that. So I took the civil service test. I scored well enough. And in 1994, I started Union County Jail in Elizabeth, New Jersey.
Did he give you the application?
No. He just told me about it, that it was because I had never, at the time, I was, you know, definitely thinking towards, you know, some type of police work. I knew that when I was taking those classes on criminal justice, they were fascinating. And like I said, I was never a student that paid attention. I was always a class clown. But when I took those classes for
Can't
the first
tell.
time, for the first time in my life, I was actually interested, you know, and I was like, wow, it's a fascinating topic. And then when he brought up the corrections, I was like, I don't think anybody sits around as a young child and aspires to someday grow up to be a corrections officer.
Yeah, that's true.
You know, it's something that you get into. And having said that, it's a vital part of the criminal justice system. It's an important job. And I've worked with people who really I've seen such heroic things by men and women that I work with that it's really awe-inspiring. Having said that, at the time I knew nothing about any of that. All I knew is what you see in movies, and what you see in movies is usually horrible. It's usually a horrible depiction of the corrections profession. You know, you see like inmates who are innocent and corrections officers who are the worst
Beating them
deviants in the
up,
world.
yeah.
So I didn't. Like at that time I was like everybody else. So I was just like, all I knew is that my father kept insisting you get a boat, a house, a motorcycle, and a nicer car. So that's all I knew was the monetary aspect, and I was like, well, let me look into it. If it's something I don't like, I'll stay away from it. And you know what? I did like it. I found that I was good at it. I could work these pods and these different units, and I could listen, it's not for everybody. We've seen plenty of people come in there and quit within their first week when they realize
Really?
that the inmates are not behind the bars like in the movies. The inmates are all around you all day long, and it's not the kind of setup that most people imagine when they think of corrections, because they're thinking about the movies they see where all the inmates are behind the bars locked away, and
Right.
that's not the case anymore. It's a kinder, gentler world that we live in. They're free to roam.
Well, also, there's cameras all over the place, and I know in the day we had a jail in Jersey City. Now it's in Kearney, but we had one in Jersey City. They didn't have like what they had, the technology today.
Right.
Like they could zoom in and they could see everything you're doing.
Right.
So, and it's not like, I mean, what are you guys doing? You're doing your job, and if someone hits you, I guess you have to defend yourself.
Yes, and you also have to understand that when I first started in 1994, there was really no additional charges for an inmate that hit an officer. I remember
really?
I was when I was the delegate for my local. This is a long time ago, back in '98. I was part of a corrections committee with guys like Bobby Ortiz and Henry Ruiz.
Oh, wow.
And back then we were pushing to get legislation passed that would make it a mandatory sentence of like 5 years if you assault a corrections officer, if you spit on him, if you hit him with bodily fluids.
Ugh.
And that eventually went through and it became law. But before that, it really wasn't. And a lot of the judges, when you would press charges against these inmates for doing these things, the judges kind of looked at you like, well, that's part of your job. Just suck it up. It wasn't
Really?
like, oh yeah, it wasn't like, when you're a cop and somebody hits you, you're going to pay for that. But back then, when you're a correction officer, they looked at it as, well, that's what you do. It is the choice you made. So there was really no deterrent for inmates in a jail to not assault
they
you or
could
not
assault you all
throw
day long.
urine on you or
Right.
spit on you, except for whatever physical reaction we gave them, which was obviously to subdue them as quickly as possible. But that was really the only deterrent. And since then, at least legislation has become more modernized with us and treating us more as law enforcement officers as opposed to jail guards. So the repercussions are more serious. But you're still looking at a large majority of inmates who have no respect for police officers on the street. So how much respect are they really going to have for a correction officer behind those walls? If you don't expect a police officer's badge, you're not going to respect our badge. And most of them don't look at us as law enforcement officers, so they won't hesitate to try to assault you. And in the 23 years that I've been there, I've been involved in about a dozen physical altercations with inmates where they've attacked or I've had to defend myself. And the scope has changed because when I first started, there was not a lot of gangs in our correctional facilities. Back in 1994, you may have had some Latin Kings, you may have had some white supremacists, but that was about it. Now, the jails are full of Bloods and Crips. And when you get assaulted by one inmate, there's a chance that when you defend yourself, 10 more are going to jump on you because they have to. Because if they're gang members and they don't, they're going to have to deal with the consequences by the other gang members for not getting involved. So you work with 2 officers per unit, and your unit could have a Union County Jail up to as many as 90 inmates in there. And in the past, it was like, okay, you don't have any weapons with you because you have to leave your gun at the gun locker when you come into work. You can't bring the firearm into the facility because of the threat that the inmate could take it away from you and take over the entire jail. So it's you, your partner, and you have 2 radios to call for backup should you need backup. Well, when I first started, it was more of an isolated incident. If an inmate came at you, it was either because he was having a bad day, or he was a crazy guy, and you took him down, you handcuffed him, and he was sent to the detention area. Now, it could be you're fighting off 10 to a dozen gang members at a time. So, the speed time of your response team is crucial because it could be the difference of living and dying.
That's for sure. And, like I said, I don't understand it because I didn't do that job.
Right.
Just like, you wouldn't know what it's like being on the streets
Sure.
and I wouldn't know what it's like being inside the jail. But obviously I respect what you do. And That's a good question. You brought up jail guard. That's what we called them growing up all our life.
Right.
So, like, why did some correction officers, I know they get like really offended.
Yeah, well, first of all,
To you?
Well, you see, I'm funny. You have to understand that. Again, I didn't grow up looking to get involved in law enforcement. I didn't come from a law enforcement family or anything like that. I stumbled into this because of my father. You know what I mean? What he told me.
That's so funny. I love
because
that story.
those criminal justice classes were so interesting. So, I can still remember before I got the job. That's what I said too. I would say, oh, that's a
right.
jail guard. You know what I mean? So the difference is that once you start working there, and you start to realize that you're seeing some. I mean, literally, I've seen some heroic things behind those walls with people who are unarmed, facing multiple inmates. Things that if you saw in a movie, you might say, wow, that could never happen. I've seen this happen. I've seen that kind of heroism, and you'll never hear about that because that'll never be in a newspaper. It'll never be.
True.
It just stays behind the wall. So when a law enforcement or when a cop on the street does something great, you know what? People are going to hear about it. You also hear about when it's something negative. Unfortunately, in corrections, you'll only hear the negative. You'll never hear about those isolated incidences of, oh my God, he did this and he did that, where I watched and said, wow, that guy truly is a hero. But when a correction officer does something bad, then that's going to be all over the newspapers, and that enforces this negative stereotype of what you see. And the depictions of correction officers in movies is just horrendous. You know, they're either sexually abusing or beating inmates up, and inmates are, of course, are always innocent.
Well,
It makes-
because
it
you'll
makes
hear
for a great
one story, like you
Sure.
said.
Listen,
you know,
Shawshank Redemption's awesome. It's on 24 hours a day. Whatever you flick around, you'll find Shawshank. And there's a terrible CO in there. You turn on the Green Mile, and there's that terrible Percy who kills the mouse. And that's, that's what is. And you start to realize, and more so when I got involved with the PBA, was you start to see things like at that time, our county had said that they were giving out license plates, personalized plates that said, law enforcement officer. But at that time, it was only available to sheriff's officers. Corrections officers couldn't get it. Now, the truth is, I didn't even want the plate, but I was still offended by the fact that, listen, I have to go to a police academy too. I can't carry my gun at work, but I do carry my gun outside of work. I do have powers of arrest outside of work. I am a law enforcement officer. The fact that you're telling me that I can't get that is offensive, even though I don't want it. So that's why I think that some corrections officers get very offended when you say jail guard, because you're really belittling what they do, and you're saying, well, you're not. You're saying that the police are at this level and you're at a far lower level, where really it comes down to, listen, I respect what police do every day. I respect what correctional officers do. We're all part of the same family. We're just different parts of the criminal justice system. And there's always going to be some people that look in and say, and they don't understand what we do. But I get that, because why would they understand? I didn't understand until I started working there. If you don't work there, and if you don't have a family member that's a corrections officer, you really have no idea what we do on a day in and day out basis. And I wouldn't expect you to. The only thing we can try to do is educate the public. And that's really all you can do.
That's true. It's true. Like the sheriffs, I remember like the sheriff's officers, they would hang out at one place, and the police officers in Jersey City would hang out at another place. And then when they would come, it was like, why are they here? And then correction officers can't forget about it.
Yeah, right. And with the
It's like,
stigma
what?
that they come with.
Yeah.
The only reason why that's changed a little bit with us
Now
is
it changed, I think. Now we're like one, but it wasn't. You're right. In
and also
1994.
because there's so many police officers that start off in corrections and then become police officers now, that they've had a taste of it. They know what that's like, so they have a respect for it because they did it. That's what I'm saying. Like a lot of the guys in our cigar club, they used to work with us. Now they've gone on to all different departments, but they say, listen, I never forgot where I came from. I never forgot what it was like to work in Union County Jail behind those walls. So I think that helps spread what we really are and what we do.
That's true too. You never wanted to do that?
I never wanted to have anything to do with law enforcement ever. I mean, I wasn't raised in that manner. I didn't come from that kind of a background. I never saw myself that way. It's just that this is the way my life went. And like I said, I started working as a correctional officer. I found that I was good at it. It was something that I could do. And at that time, I was getting into union things. I was getting into shift rep stuff and things like that. And I was really fascinated with that. So that kept me going. So no, I didn't
Take
even
any
think about
tests?
going into another police department or anything like
really?
that. And like my father said, they make a lot of the overtime. You can make the money. So yeah, there was a lot of overtime, and you could supplement your income if you're willing to put the hours in. And,
Right.
and we did that. Listen, it was hard because you're talking about a job when you're working Christmas, you're working Thanksgiving, you're working on weekends. When other people were home with their families, we weren't. You're behind a jail with inmates. And that's not an easy thing to do, to spend times like that in that type of a place. But you were able to make the money, and you were able to do something that had to be done. And so
So
you
your
did
dad
it.
must be happy.
My father was happy because I was working, and that's what he wanted. He wanted his son out of the house.
Oh, that's good. He said, make the money so I don't have to pay for you all your life. I don't want you
that was
living in my
probably the
basement
root of it all.
forever.
Yeah,
Right? Like today. So we just got to go for a quick commercial, and we'll be right back with Corrections Officer Peter Femia from Union County.
Bella Physical Therapy, located in Fair Lawn, New Jersey, featuring one-on-one care. Bella Physical Therapy can help treat your orthopedic and sports injuries, chronic pain, men's health conditions, and women's health conditions. Also, treating headaches and tinnitus and vestibular disorders. It's easy to set up an appointment. Visit www.bella-pt.com or call 201-791-0008. That's 201-791-0008. You owe it to yourself to stop living in pain. Start the road to recovery. Call Bella Physical Therapy today. Tri-State Health and Wellness. If you're searching for a doctor who truly cares about your health and well-being, contact Dr. Alex at Tri-State Health and Wellness. Dr. Alex specializes in treating law enforcement professionals and their families and features special hours to accommodate different work shifts. All necessary testing can be performed in their friendly and comfortable environment. Contact Tri-State Health and Wellness, located in Fair Lawn, New Jersey. Call 201-791-7771. That's 201-791-7771. Wayne Ford. If you are looking for a certified used or new vehicle, look no further. Visit Wayne Ford, New Jersey's law enforcement preferred dealer. Featuring the largest inventory of pre-owned vehicles in the tri-state area, Wayne Ford has been proudly serving the community for over 50 years. Conveniently located 1/4 mile from the Willowbrook Mall on Route 46 in Wayne, New Jersey, contact Wayne Ford today. Toll free 888-349-6857. That's 888-349-6857. Kale Orthopedic Center, featuring high-performance care for bodies in motion. Kale Orthopedic is proud to provide comprehensive orthopedic care for New Jersey's finest. Every day you put your body at risk, and Kale Orthopedic is here to help you. Contact Kale Orthopedic at 201-447-3880. That's 201-447-3880. Kale Orthopedic, high-performance care for bodies in motion. If you're tired of sleeping alone each night, contact Dr. Doblin of At Home Sleep Solutions. Dr. Doblin is New Jersey's law enforcement professional's preferred sleep apnea doctor. With the use of a custom-fitted oral device, you can now look forward to a restful night's sleep. Contact Dr. Doblin, featuring 2 convenient locations in Fair Lawn and Trenton, New Jersey. Call 201-396-9338 or visit athomesleepsolutions.com. City Health Pharmacy, located at 23 Court Street in Newark, New Jersey. Come and experience why thousands of your neighbors choose City Health Pharmacy each and every month. City Health Pharmacy is a proud supporter of the men and women of New Jersey law enforcement, their families, and friends. Visit City Health Pharmacy today at 23 Court Street in Newark, New Jersey, or call 862-772-0442. That's 862-772-0442. If you're looking for the widest variety of talk programs, entertaining, engaging, diverse, uncensored, and opinionated, visit ddvradio.com. You can listen on your smartphone, tablet, or any mobile device. DDV Radio brings you the widest variety of talk programs such as Living Life Well, Your World Uncensored, The Canine Authority, and The Wise Guys Show. Visit www.ddvradio.com, the official radio network of NJ Blue Now.
Without her? Is it on? Okay, we're back. This is Peter Femia. She's pronounced my last name as Femia a couple times, so let's just get it right for the record. It is Femia. She'll be back shortly. But what we were talking about was corrections officers and as opposed to jail guards and a public stigma and things like that. And I think it is important for us to try to educate the public as much as possible as to who we really are, what we really face, and what the job is really about. But sometimes that's difficult because we're really not out in the community. You know, as police officers, you're out on the streets, you're out on the roads, and you have a lot more interaction with civilians. And as corrections officers, you're behind the walls, so it's not that often that you really get to get out with the public and let them know what you're really all about.
That's true. You have a point with that. But, you know, you came up with this plan, and I don't know how you thought of it. Let everybody know how you thought of this Heroes for Heroes.
Well, what it was is we were approached many, many years ago by our PBA Local 199, and they were letting us know that there's an annual Special Olympics torch run that takes place, and that all the proceeds of this torch run goes to the Special Olympics. And I started looking into it, and I was like, wow, this is really interesting. It's something that I would like to do. So this is probably back, I'm thinking maybe around 2005, something like that. And we were like, okay, well, you know, let's take part in it. And we did the Special Olympics torch run, and it was good. And then we started speaking to a couple other police officers that were involved, and they're like, yeah, our locals raised such and such amount of money for this. And I was like, oh, well, I didn't know about that, you know? And I was like, well, I'd like to raise money for this great cause too. You know, I mean, the New Jersey Special Olympics does more than any other state. I mean, they really take care of the athletes that take part in this. They take care of all their expenses, the housing, the food, the training, the preparation. Really? And it's what they do is amazing. And, you know, a lot of people also know that they do the polar bear plunge and things like that. And they raise millions of dollars for the Special Olympics. And that's all really law enforcement based. And they really deserve applause for what they've done. It's a remarkable job. And so I wanted to be part of that. And then I realized something. When you try to fundraise as a corrections officer, it is very different than fundraising as a police officer, because once again, all these stigmas come in, and you're dealing with people who don't really know you as opposed to police officers who are on the street and dealing with people on a day-to-day basis. So what ended up happening was we said, well, we're going to have to come up with an idea. And that idea is going to have to be something that breaks through that barrier, something that people automatically identify you as being something. And so I said, instead of running in T-shirts and a T-shirt, what about if we run in something else? And me, a couple other guys that I work with, Michael Stope and Pete Femiano, we were kicking this around, and we came up with the idea of, what if we dressed as superheroes? And at first we kind of laughed. And like,
yeah, really?
I was like, people are going to look at us like we're crazy. But I said, yeah, but that's the point. Imagine if you were driving down your car and you looked and you seen a bunch of superheroes running down the street. That would get your attention.
That's true.
So then we started to think about it, and I was like, well, I'm Batman. And another guy was like, I'm Captain America. I'm Thor. And next thing you know, we started to tell people about it. We're like, hey, we're thinking about doing this idea. And other corrections officers, oh, well, I'll be the Hulk. I want to be the Hulk. And I was like, all right, Hulk, you're the Hulk.
That's so funny.
So what we didn't think about at the time
Why'd you choose Batman?
I've always been a comic book geek my entire life. As a child, for me, that was my escape from reality. Opening up a superhero comic book and realizing how the good guy wins in the end, to me, was the ultimate. So I was always a Batman fan. So I was like, okay, that's it. I will be the Dark Knight. And what we never thought of at the time as we were planning this is how incredibly hot and uncomfortable it is to run 5 miles in costumes that are really designed for like Halloween parties in somebody's home. They're really not designed for any type of physical activity.
With AC on.
Right, exactly. You know, but we wanted to go with it. So we put together at that time a small group of superheroes, and we did the run. And of course, it was just what we thought. People looking and staring, what is that? But you also had people clapping and cheering on the side of the street, yelling Captain America. And so we're like, hey, I think we may be onto something. And so the following year, we did it again, but with bigger and more elaborate costumes. We got more people involved from the jail, more corrections officers, and it got bigger and bigger. And then what we realized is, once we called it, we got a name, which was Heroes for Heroes. And that, showing how, we're dressed up as heroes, but we're actually doing this for the true heroes. And those are the participants who take part in the Special Olympics, these incredible athletes who overcome all kinds of obstacles. Right. And, so they're our inspiration, So when we see all the things that they do, how can you complain about running in a hot costume, right? It really puts everything into perspective for you. And but what we found is once we started fundraising as Heroes for Heroes from Union County Jail, people were more willing to give. And suddenly they were like, oh, yeah, you're the superheroes. We know you guys. We saw you running down the street. What are you doing this for? I said, oh, we do this for the Special Olympics. And next thing you know, they were writing checks for the Special Olympics. We were able to fundraise and raise thousands of dollars on a yearly basis, all going towards the Special Olympics. And it was really because of this idea of dressing up as superheroes. So it worked out well.
That's great. And how many years have you been doing this?
Like I said, we've been doing this now probably about 8 years. The costume started off very small and almost silly when we first started. Now it's become so advanced and so expensive and hot.
Yeah,
but it's well worth it.
Amazing.
Yeah. Well, it's almost like we're we have somebody that shows up in a brand new Iron Man costume, like, oh, I got to beat that. And next thing you know, it just keeps, one thing leads to another. But what happened was...
Now, you pay for that on your own?
Yes, absolutely, yeah. We pay for it on our own. Most of the events we do on our own, but we do have a director to jail, Ron Charles, who's very supportive of us, and he likes what we're doing. He understands the value of doing this charity work, so he does support us. And it's good that we have a director that's on board, and he really helps us out a lot. So that's good.
Did he start as a CO or no?
I believe he did start as a CO, but not in our facility. He came from a different facility. But
he gets it.
Yeah, he supports us. He's a good guy. And our union supports us too, and so that definitely helps. And what began to happen is, even though we started doing this simply for the Special Olympics, that was our cause, that was what we were all about, other police departments began to hear about us, and they started reaching out. Like Elizabeth Police Department reached out, and they said, we do this 5K Jingle Bell run every year at the mall in Elizabeth. Would you guys dress up as superheroes?
In the mall?
Actually, they run around the mall. It's right around the Christmas time. Santa Claus comes out, and they raise a lot of charitable funds too. And they were like, I believe they do it for St. Jude's Hospital, and another great cause, and Children's Hospital. And they were like, "Will you guys come out?" And we were like, "Yeah, hey, you're our brothers. We'll come out there for you too." So we came out there with the superhero costumes on. The kids got a big kick out of that. Great. We did that run for them, and then after that, we got the FBI reached out to us.
That's awesome.
Yeah, that was cool.
You were like, what did I do?
The FBI.
The FBI's on my...
reaches out to correction officer. There may be a problem here.
Yeah, exactly.
But instead, they heard about Heroes for Heroes, and they were like, listen, we're going to have a bunch of our children all come to the headquarters in Newark. We'd like you guys to come in your full costumes and interact with them, take pictures with them. And we did that. And
that's awesome.
Yeah, it went really well. We did that in 2016, and we just recently this week went back out and did it again with them. And that's great. Just listen, if there's anybody in law enforcement that wants us to come out, we come out, especially if it's any type of children's cause or any type of charitable thing. We'll be out there. We take, on our days off, or we'll change our shifts, whatever it need be.
I was just going to say, so you do this like on your own time?
Yes, for the most part, it is on our own time. There are times that the director can help us out with like the torch run and things like that, and that's appreciated. But there are, we're a group now of almost 20 officers and some supervisors also. So you can't expect to just that's a lot. So we understand. Listen, this is a charity, and doing a charity means you have to sacrifice. And thankfully, I got a lot of good guys and girls that are involved in this, and they do it. They suck it up. They come on their days off. They change their shifts, and we make these appearances. And like I said, it to some people it sounds silly. They're like, "Oh, you dress up as Batman," but until you've seen the expression on a child's face, especially a child who's sick. And you go there and you see, just by giving this kid a hug, that look of awe in their eyes, that expression in their face, it is priceless, and it is very well worth it. And that's why I'm really proud of this organization, and being a part of this is just great.
Oh yeah, definitely. And for someone like yourself, like, what is your passion behind it? Because you don't have children, you don't have a child with disability, and you still have that passion in you to help.
Yeah, you know
awesome.
what? I don't. But when I first started hearing about the torch run and seeing what they did with the Special Olympics, like I said, if you Google New Jersey Special Olympics and see just how much they do and how this helps so many people, I just got really inspired by that. I got inspired by the athletes, and that's when I said, I this is something that I really want to do. And then there was another aspect of it too. When I realized, when I first started to try to fundraise, and people were very hesitant to give money to corrections officers who were, the checks weren't made out to us, it was to the Special Olympics, right?
Right.
And so I said, wow, how bad is this stigma? How bad is this stereotype that corrections officers have, that people really don't even look at you as not only law enforcement, but almost like they're wary of dealing with you. And so I said to myself, we can accomplish two different things here. First and foremost, the most important thing, which is raising funds for this incredible cause, and for any cause of children's sickness, we're there. But there is another part of it, and that other part is, now you're getting out in the public and you're letting them know, hey, this is who we are. I know what you may think, what you've seen in movies, what you've read in books, but now we're those guys that dress up in costumes and go help out. And we have parents come up and talk to us and say how much it means to them. And then afterwards they start talking to us like, well, where do you guys work? What police department? Like, no, we're from Union County Jail in Elizabeth. And they're like, really? And I'm like, yeah. And they're like, oh, well, I didn't expect you to be like this. And you realize that, that's a wall that has to be broken down. That's part of of educating the public as to who we are, and getting rid of a negative stereotype that's just that's unfortunately attached to the profession that we do. And so, yeah, I'm inspired by both of those things. Obviously, the whether you have children or not, to see a sick child is always a heartbreaking thing. Mm-hmm. And if you can help in any way, shape, or form, I think that's a natural thing for a human being to do. And I'm so proud of the officers that I work with, that they're willing to be part of this and willing to sacrifice their time. So yeah, we are making a difference. And at the same time, I think that we're breaking boundaries, where we're showing people, hey, listen, we're corrections officers and we do this. This is what we're about. So we're not what you think.
No, that's true, because wow, I was surprised that people still look at them like that. Like, when
I think
donations.
Well, if you think about it, how much contact do people have with corrections officers? How much do they really know about them? They may know about them if their family's incarcerated, and they may be getting a distorted description of who we are. And like I said, if you look at movies and media, there's a lot of police officer movies that, wow, cops are heroic. And there's some that are bad, but you can't find too many heroic correction officer movies. It's pretty much a standard view of who they are. So I think that there's a stereotype that comes with the profession. There's a negative connotation that comes with the profession. And some people can look at it as, hey, you know what? I really don't care. I'm going to go to work. I'm going to do what I do. I'm going to be there for my brothers and sisters in blue. I'm going to save them. They're going to save me if it's necessary. And at the end of the year, I'm going to retire with my pension and move on. And there is validity to that. But I also look at it as, if you can educate people to what you are and what you're doing, and at the same time help people in need, that's a win-win situation. And I think that's a worthy cause.
That's definitely a win-win situation. I knew a few police officers that would run into torch run, but their children are actually, one of those children.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, and I find that a lot too.
That's where their passion came from.
Absolutely.
So that's why I asked you, like, where did your passion come from?
Yeah. People have different motivations, and so many people take part in the Special Olympics. It's really awe-inspiring how many people do this every year. And like I said, this is a law enforcement backed thing, and the fact that they're so successful with this and with the polar bear plunge.
You do the polar bear plunge?
No,
Oh.
I am not willing to dress up as Batman and jump in freezing water. Every
on.
man has his limitations.
We have to see it.
Every man has it.
I want to see
Batman
Batman
doesn't
jump
come
in
out and jump in
Seaside
water.
Heights.
Batman doesn't swim. Nah, I think leave that to Aquaman or somebody. I don't
Oh
know.
yeah, that's right.
I'll go there and have a drink at the bar, and I'll salute them. I'll buy a hoodie or
You'll
something.
clap.
Yes, I'll support financially for that one. But
Yeah,
no, I'm
really.
not jumping into freezing water anytime soon.
Yeah, I bought the T-shirts, but I'm not.
yes, you can help out financially.
Exactly, and that's what I did. But like Jersey City police officers, they're like all into that.
Yeah,
They
yeah,
love
it's
it.
huge. It's huge.
I'm like,
it's
how
a
do
huge
you
and it's a
do
great
it?
cause.
But they're so used to it, I think they just go in.
Yeah,
I
they're
couldn't.
brave men and women. I tip my hat to them because I will not be doing that
I hate the
anytime
cold.
soon.
I'd rather run and sweat in that.
Well, I will
costume.
tell you this. It all comes down to extremes. Usually, that torch run takes place like the first Friday or the second Friday in June, and sometimes you get good weather. But you have to understand the different legs of the torch run are different distances. Ours is about 5 miles, and right down the street, right down the middle of the street, you got
Where at? Where do you start?
we start in Elizabeth and we run all the way almost to the end of Linden, like borderline of Rawway, and you're running right down St. George Avenue. You have the police on the motorcycles in front of you, and everybody's running holding a torch, except our group got capes flying behind them. You got Wonder Woman, you got Batman,
so
Spider-Man.
awesome.
So people honking their horns like, whoa, what is this? You know what I mean? So
Do you have Batgirl?
It does get a lot of attention. We do not have a Batgirl currently. We have a Supergirl and a Wonder Woman, but no Batgirl. But it was a couple years ago. The weather was 95 degrees. And I think everybody who ran in a torch run remembered that year because there was people having trouble finishing it, running in T-shirts and shorts. Well, we were running it in full costumes, and I remember that as Batman, and now I know why Batman doesn't come out during the day. I had the mask and cowl on, which is nylon, with Velcro strapped tight around my neck. So after a while, just if I took my finger and touched the top of the mask, it would burn my finger. It was actually my head was cooking
'cause
in the
it's black.
Right, it was black, and the sun was beating down on us, and we were looking at it. We had sweat streaming down. We're using the capes to dab our eyes, and we were like, just suck it
Really?
up, because you know what? You really can't quit when you're dressed as a superhero. It's a bad look. People
Imagine
like,
a kid
yeah. Yeah, imagine a kid looking on the side. Well, look, Captain America's a punk. He quit. What happened? This is
on
nothing
gas.
at all what I thought he was going to be. What happened to this guy? So yeah, you really had to suck it up. So sometimes when the weather's extreme, it takes a lot. Like I tell these guys, if you can run 5 miles without a costume, you need to be able to run 8 miles, because that costume is going to absorb so much of your energy, and it's going to beat you down so much more. You can't just train for 5 miles. You need at least 8 miles of run in you to complete that in full costume.
Right.
Yeah, it's a little more difficult.
I think the girls are easier because they're.
Some of the costumes are more
Yeah,
open, you know what I mean? Or it depends which hero you choose. Like, let's say you choose Robin, you could wear a little shorts and a little tiny mask, and it's not that bad. But I know that the guy that I work with, his name's John Ficini, and he runs as Spider-Man. And he's literally covered head to toe. There's no part of his body that's exposed. And it takes a lot of physical conditioning to wear that Spider-Man outfit the entire run. And he does it. These guys suck it up and they do it. So I tip my hat to him.
Wow, that's great. So now, how do you, get people to join? What do you look for? Because obviously you have to be in good physical shape like yourself.
What's funny is that the first couple years that we were doing it, people were like, I'm not doing that. That's ridiculous. and I was like, no. So I had to sell them on the concept. I go, you don't understand. We're heroes for heroes. And they're like, well, I'll run, but I'm not going to dress up. I was like, no, you have to dress up. That's the point. So at first, people were really kind of like, nah. And then what started to happen is, like anything else, it started to get a little bit more popular. We started to get some coverage. New Jersey 12 came out last year. People becoming, recognizing us a little more and more. And people started getting into it. And now people come up to me. They're like, hey, I want to be a hero. And I'm like, okay, great. Can you run 5 miles?
Actually 8.
Right. Actually 8.
Because...
So that disqualifies some guys right off the bat.
Yeah, really.
But for the ones who can, then it's a matter of, okay, well, you know what? and then they get confused. Like, I want to be Joker, the Bane. No, we're heroes. We're not villains. You have to choose a good guy. You can't be Bane. But
That's
but
funny.
and once they get it's a lot easier now because now it's more popular and people know of us, and so I think people want to get involved. And we have a lot of rookies just starting who are in great shape.
That's what I was gonna say. You probably need the young guys,
Yes.
not guys with 23
I'm-
years on. You're
as
probably
Batman,
the
I'm
only one.
becoming an old, elderly Batman. I'm the broken down
Old
version. Yeah, I'm the old guy. So my Batman years are quickly coming to an end. There may be a new one replacing me. I'm the Christian Bale. There's a Ben Affleck waiting to step up any moment now. I can smell it. Yeah.
No, you're fine. So in 2 years, what would you do when you retire?
I'm going to smoke those cigars, and I'm going to go to those Yankee games, and I'm going to enjoy my
I
life.
can't believe you stayed the entire time last night knowing you had to
was
get
an
up
epic
early.
Yankee game in 10 innings. They were one of the greatest comebacks of all time. I was there. The place was going nuts. It was good
Yeah, I could
stuff.
imagine. That probably kept you awake.
Good
when
stuff.
Everybody was going nuts.
Yeah, well, but I had to get up for this. This is important stuff. I'm glad to be here.
Thank you. Thank you. I appreciate that. I know you didn't sleep well. And I saw that they won, so I was like, okay, good. At least he's happy because if they lost,
Oh, I would have
he
been
might
miserable.
be miserable
I would have been
coming
miserable.
here.
I would have felt kind of like what you feel like as a Mets fan. I would understand your pain.
He just had to bring that up. Yeah, Mets, Giants, and Rangers. So,
All right.
but-
Well, you have some Rangers joy right now, right? You're
yeah,
doing
now,
well.
but we always make it this far,
Uh-oh.
and then I don't know.
You're
We
right.
just can't get that cup, but maybe we will this year. Let's hope.
All right.
But they're a good team. I love the Rangers. I'm mostly into hockey. I know you're into baseball, but hockey's my love.
You have a little passion for it. All right.
Yeah, I like watching the guys fight and rip helmets off.
Well, maybe you should get
Kick
into
each other's
boxing.
ass.
If the part of if the aspect of the
Oh, I
sport
like
that you like is
boxing.
the fighting, then perhaps boxing would be more enjoyable. I don't know.
I like that too. I'm a Jersey City girl. We like fighting.
Yes, I understand. I understand.
That's all I saw growing up.
You saw a
Fights
lot
on
of
every
good
corner.
fisticuffs going on there.
Right?
Yeah.
Now they just shoot each other and stab each other, but we actually saw good fights. And
Yeah,
they
people
lasted
used to have
long.
knuckle game when we grew up. Now they're just shooting.
Yeah,
And even the shooting is not very
Sad.
accurate.
yeah, that's true.
They're not spending a lot of
never
time at the
good.
range. The gun is sideways. It's not good.
They said, I remember that at the range the first time I went, and they said, never hold a gun like you see it in the movies
Yes.
sideways.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
I was laughing.
Yeah, it's very
I was
hard
like,
to hit
oh,
the
really?
target
You
like that.
can't? Because that's what they all do in the movies. So that's pretty funny. But I'm glad that you're doing this. And after 2 years, you're gonna have another replacement, I guess. when you
Yeah, I
retire?
mean, right now I'm not only am I running in it, but I'm acting as the coordinator for the charity. For instance, we
awesome.
have a big fundraiser coming up, and we
Right.
have one big yearly fundraiser. It's at a place called Frenchie's in Roselle Park, New Jersey. And what we do is we all go there in full costume, and we actually do a meet and
nice.
greet. We take pictures with everybody. And what's good about it is we have a lot of the local eateries in Union County that donate free food. So we got like John's Cafe, Valencia, Algarve, Bella's. There's a lot of places in the area who all donate to us free food. So when people come out to this fundraiser, there's no cover charge. You're getting all this free food. I got my buddy from Jersey City, Carmine's Pizza Factory, who
Oh, there you
great
go.
pizza, hooks us up with a lot of pizzas. People come there, they eat for free. There's no cover charge. There's a live band that does great music. That's free. The only thing that we do is we ask people just make a charitable donation. Give out of your heart whatever you feel like you want to give. And it's been very successful. And we're doing that again on May 26th. It's a Friday night. And we
7
encourage
p.m.
7 p.m., May 26th, Frenchie's in Roselle Park, New Jersey. We're encouraging everybody to come out. You come out, it's a great time. And you know what? Yeah, there's a lot of law enforcement. There's a lot of corrections officers, a lot of police officers, troopers, Port Authority police. We're also sponsored by a group 3030s MC. So they're out there. They've got all their bikes out there, and people love to see all their nice Harleys. And you get a big cross spectrum of society that all come out. And there's people that just legitimately want to come out and help out with the Special Olympics because they know every dollar that we get, it goes directly to the
So
Special
who would they
Olympics.
write the checks to?
when you make the checks, you make the checks out to the Special Olympics of New Jersey. In the comment section, you write Torch Run, and then you give the checks to us, and we turn them all in to the Torch Run committee. And that's
See,
what
that's
we've been
awesome. I wouldn't mind giving something like that. I don't like to give to certain people. You don't know if it's going to the right
Absolutely.
place. I'm always
And
skeptical.
that's why, that's why people say, yeah, I want to make a check. Do I make it out to you? I've said, absolutely not. They're like, do I make it out to Heroes for Heroes? Absolutely not. You make that check out to Special Olympics of New Jersey because they get every single dollar of everything we
That's
collect.
amazing.
It's for
That's
them,
great.
So that's what it's all about.
Yeah, well, not many organizations do that, but I love that. That's great that you do that. So we just have to go for another quick commercial. See, it's going fast. And we'll be right back with Correction Officer Pete Femia.
The opinions expressed by the hosts, callers, and guests are not those of DGVRadio.com, Envisage Productions LLC, its advertisers, sponsors, or employees. Bella Physical Therapy, located in Fair Lawn, New Jersey, featuring one-on-one care. Bella Physical Therapy can help treat your orthopedic and sports injuries, chronic pain, men's health conditions, and women's health conditions. Also, treating headaches and tinnitus and vestibular disorders. It's easy to set up an appointment. Visit www.bella-pt.com or call 201-791-0008. That's 201-791-0008. You owe it to yourself to stop living in pain. Start the road to recovery. Call Bella Physical Therapy today. Tri-State Health and Wellness. If you're searching for a doctor who truly cares about your health and well-being, contact Dr. Alex at Tri-State Health and Wellness. Dr. Alex specializes in treating law enforcement professionals and their families and features special hours to accommodate different work shifts. All necessary testing can be performed in their friendly and comfortable environment. Contact Tri-State Health and Wellness, located in Fair Lawn, New Jersey. Call 201-791-7771. That's 201-791-7771. Wayne Ford. If you are looking for a certified used or new vehicle, look no further. Visit Wayne Ford, New Jersey's law enforcement preferred dealer, featuring the largest inventory of pre-owned vehicles in the tri-state area. Wayne Ford has been proudly serving the community for over 50 years. Conveniently located 1/4 mile from the Willowbrook Mall on Route 46 in Wayne, New Jersey, contact Wayne Ford today. Toll free 888-349-6857. That's 888-349-6857. Kale Orthopedic Center, featuring high-performance care for bodies in motion. Kale Orthopedic is proud to provide comprehensive orthopedic care for New Jersey's finest. Every day you put your body at risk, and Kale Orthopedic is here to help you. Contact Kale Orthopedic at 201-447-3880. That's 201-447-3880. Kale Orthopedic, high-performance care for bodies in motion. If you're tired of sleeping alone each night, contact Dr. Doblin of At Home Sleep Solutions. Dr. Doblin is New Jersey's law enforcement professionals' preferred sleep apnea doctor. With the use of a custom-fitted oral device, you can now look forward to a restful night's sleep. Contact Dr. Doblin, featuring 2 convenient locations in Fair Lawn and Trenton, New Jersey. Call 201-396-9338 or visit athomesleepsolutions.com. City Health Pharmacy, located at 23 Court Street in Newark, New Jersey. Come and experience why thousands of your neighbors choose City Health Pharmacy each and every month. City Health Pharmacy is a proud supporter of the men and women of New Jersey law enforcement, their families, and friends. Visit City Health Pharmacy today at 23 Court Street in Newark, New Jersey, or call 862-772-0442. That's 862-772-0442. If you're looking for the widest variety of talk programs, entertaining, engaging, diverse, uncensored, and opinionated, visit ddvradio.com. You can listen on your smartphone, tablet, or any mobile device. DDV Radio brings you the widest variety of talk programs such as Living Life Well, Your World Uncensored, The Canine Authority, and The Wise Guys Show. Visit www.ddvradio.com, the official radio network of NJ Blue Now.
Okay, we're back. This is Valerie Stetson. We have a little correction here. I'm saying his last name
And this
wrong.
is
And he
Correction
hasn't
Officer
corrected me.
Peter Famia.
Oh,
As opposed to
Famia.
Famia for you or for
Famia.
everybody. See?
How you doing?
Yeah. Now you never forget.
You're going to have to
Famia.
join the Wise Guys show.
All right. I'm interested in this Wise Guy show. I gotta find out about it.
I'll tell you about it after my show.
I'll wear the Batman mask.
They'll love that. They're really funny. It's a great show. And now you just made me lose track. But you
The whole Famia thing threw
for
you
me,
off.
yeah. Okay,
For
for
you.
me, yeah, for you.
That's it.
I got to remember that.
You got it.
Am I saying it like the American way?
Yeah, you're like Famia.
Femia. Yeah. Well, my last name was Velasquez. That's my last name, and everybody tears that up for whatever reason.
Really?
To me, it's
Okay.
easy.
Nowadays, that's as common as Smith.
Yeah.
Velasquez. You kidding me? That's like
No, they'll
Jones.
say Velez.
Are you kidding me?
Vasquez, and the spelling is always wrong.
Yeah.
I don't have any S's in my last name. I have Z's, so they would always spell it wrong, screw it up. I mean, but for me, it's easy,
Famia.
and you can spell that too. It's pretty self-explanatory there. For me, I like that better actually. So now you're in this run, and you had all these other people join, which is great because I see there's a lot of you guys.
Yeah, there's almost there's just about 20 of us now, and
And what did it start? 3?
it started off about 3 or 4, or maybe 5. And like I said, those are some really bad costumes, but it's progressed rapidly. And like I said, we have like 20 strong now. They can't all make it out to every event, like I said, because sometimes they can't get off
Can't
of
get
work
off,
or
yeah.
depending on the shift. But we try. We usually turn out in full force, especially for the torch run. Like I said, we do different charities during the year, but our heart is with the torch run. That's really what started us. That was our initial motivation, and that's what this big fundraiser is for on May 26th at Frenchie's. It's definitely all the proceeds going to Special Olympics. So that's our big motivation.
Are you gonna sing?
Am I going to sing? Am I going to sing right now? Parla più piano che nessuno sentirà.
He can sing, people.
Let me see. I will not be singing. Hey, listen, when I'm wearing that Batman outfit, it's hard enough just to keep my breath. You have no idea how hot it is. I'm trying not to pass out. I'm trying to act heroic, and meanwhile, I'm like, I'm so hot right now.
Oh my
So yeah, I don't
God.
think there'll be a lot of singing.
Going
Singing
on.
Batman would be kind of strange. I'm supposed to
might
be,
fun.
yeah, but I'm
See,
supposed
that
to be
might
more
another
angry.
Idea.
You think that's the next step?
That's the next
step is for us to
People
sing.
will stop and you put a little coin jar.
Great. Yeah,
Throw
just
some
toss in
money
the
in
coin as I'm sweating profusely and singing, trying not to pass out. Like, who is this guy?
That might distract your mind from sweating and being so
I
hot.
should sing
by
in
singing.
that disturbing Christian Bale voice too, you know? I'm as free as a bird now, and this bird you cannot change. Should give me a couple
That's why
dollars.
he's
Either that or
single
get me
still.
locked up in some insane asylum. One or the other.
Yeah, really. That's funny though. No, because he posts. Why I said that, people probably like, why is she saying he sings? Because he posts on Facebook singing while he's in his car.
Yeah, I have a
he gets a
ridiculous
moment,
Facebook account.
and
where
it's
I just get motivated
hysterical.
and break into song, and then people attack me about how bad I sing.
I think it's good. And he's a singer. He's a writer.
Part-time
He's a-
Cape Crusader.
Yeah. I think
I
see,
try.
at least you're gonna have other careers when you retire.
You keep
Singing.
she keeps trying to get me to work when I retired. You notice that? A lot of peer pressure. I really don't want to work.
He's like, I don't want to work. I
I really
want
wanted to have a cigar and relax. I'll put the Yankee game on the radio and
All
I'll
right,
smoke
for
a
a
good
few
cigar.
years you can relax, and then you have to go into
Please.
singing.
Yeah, you're putting a lot of peer pressure on me. She keeps saying, "What are you gonna do? What are you gonna do?" I feel like I'm back with my father. Go get a job. What do you do? You gotta go to work. You see, now I'm doing 25 years in jail. That's enough.
Yeah, really.
I need some time off, some vacation or something.
It's like you're gonna be let free.
Yes,
from
I
jail,
will be
right?
free.
For
Right, I'll go
25
B&B.
years
I'll
behind
be released
bars.
from 25 years. Yeah, you're not kidding.
Wow. No, I mean that must feel like that when you do retire. I'm sure other correction officers could say that.
Yeah, I just think that, what I've seen, and I think this is common in every type of law enforcement, is when somebody is in law enforcement for any amount of years, it's sometimes hard to walk away from that. I mean, that becomes essentially who you are as opposed to what you do. And that's why I think a lot of people will stay longer. And also because some of the people you work with do become very close to you. They do become family members. I mean, in corrections, it's very often that we work 16-hour shifts. So when you work these 16-hour shifts, you're spending more time with the people you work with than with your loved ones at home. So there are certain bonds that are created in those conditions. And especially when you're with a partner 16 hours a day and you're facing down some really hardened bad guys. After a while, there is a bond that, hey, I know you got my back. I know I got your back.
And the people that don't have your back.
Yeah, right.
There's always a few of those.
Those are the overtime spots that are kind of hard to fill with that character. Right. But yeah, so I think that because of that, some people with their 25 years comes up and they don't leave. But I don't think that's going to be a problem for me. I
You have a lot of Yankee games to go to.
I think it's a young man's job. It's not easy. There are times when you are going to be physically rolling around with young gangbangers, with kids who aren't too bright and are very violent. And yes, I've had my share of that. I've been injured. I've gotten a burns cornea from having chemicals thrown in my face.
From an inmate?
Oh yeah, I've had an inmate throw chemicals in my face and actually burn the cornea in my eye. I've had, as you can see from this thumb here, which we call my Frankenstein thumb, that was an inmate attack that he was a little more skilled fighter than the average inmate, and that resulted in me getting an operation on my hand, and I was out of work for quite some time, and that finger never really healed right, did it? Look at that.
Yeah,
that doctor's not so good at his job.
Weird.
Dr. Seuss, I think his name. But my point is that I look at it as it's more of a young man's profession. You really you have to be able to handle the potential of violence and extreme violence at any given moment. Especially, I know in my facility, Union County Jail, that you have a lot of hardcore inmates, and places like Essex County Jail, and where they're dealing with an excessive amount of gang members who are really spending their time trying to impress other gang members. They're trying to move up through the ranks. And the easiest way to move up in the ranks is by assaulting a correction officer. If you seriously hurt a correction officer, you're going to move up big. And by the time you go to state prison, you're going to bring that cred with you. And they're going to move up through the ranks of these ridiculous gangs that they take part in. So I think when my 25 years comes up, I will tip my hat to everybody else, wish them the best. If they need any help with the Heroes for Heroes program, I will still help them out with that. But I will be moving on from the jail at that point.
Wow. I don't blame you. I don't blame anybody. I think they should all go once they do their 25. But like you said, some people, they just love the brotherhood, and they feel like they're not going to have that anymore.
Right. And you know what? That's part of the reason why I created my cigar club, the Brotherhood of Ash, because what you do is we have retired members, we have current members. We get together once a month, and we have that night of just smoking cigars, talking and catching up with stuff. And so they don't have to have that sudden, wow, I knew these people for 25 years and now they're completely out of my life. And you don't have to deal with that withdrawal of human contact, Right. So that's part of why we do that other organization, Brotherhood of Ash.
Right, and you could still stay involved in stuff, in the police world, like such as myself.
Yeah, I'm going to start my own show up.
You
with
could
the
come
wise
on
guy.
my show,
That's
and
the next thing.
he could be my co-host. He'll tell the jokes.
And you'll continually mispronounce my name, and it'll be an ongoing gag. And that's
for me.
all right, there you go.
There, see, I said it right. Yeah, that's a trip. No, I know some people have that. They don't want to leave the brotherhood. I mean, they don't. First of all, that's like identity, like who they are. Like they get insane with it.
Yeah,
You know?
I think it's important that you have to step back and say, this is not who I am, and this is what I do. And don't get me wrong,
Exactly.
it's not an easy thing. Any type of law enforcement, you're doing something spectacular, and you're doing something that most people can't do. But
Right.
at the end of the day, it's still something you do. It's not who you are, and you have to be able to keep grounded, and you got to keep grounded with things that like your family, your faith, some positive things, because you also working in corrections or working as a police officer, you're also subjected to some of the worst things in society, and sometimes you're inundated with the worst aspects of society, and I've seen that destroy people. I've seen people who've been on a job who've committed suicide. I've seen people on a job become addicted to different kinds of drugs or alcohol. So people need something positive to keep them grounded, and so that you don't get lost or spiral out of control within these surroundings. And I think the biggest thing to do with that is you find your way of getting rid of the stress. However it is, you try to make it a productive way, whether that's going to the gym, whether that's going to your church, whether that's spending time with your family, whether it's spend time with a good cigar. I mean, people need to
A Yankee game.
Yankees, yes. When people need to find that way of dealing with what's going on inside of them, or just having that person to talk to about what's going on, because if you carry that around with you, it could lead to very detrimental things in your life. It could physically impact you, mentally impact you. It could impact every relationship that you have. And that's why, I think that also leads back to people who don't leave after the 25 years, because you start to feel like the only people who understand you are other police officers. And
It's sort of true.
Yeah, but it doesn't have to be that way, because you can expand that with other people by speaking to them. Listen, they're not always going to get where you're coming from, but some issues you need to speak through, some things you need to talk through. And sometimes, unfortunately, if your circle is only law enforcement circles, what tends to happen is we have this misconception that we're supposed to be tough all the time, because you're never supposed to show weakness in this job. And because of the need to be tough all the time, you may not break down and say to your partner, hey, I'm feeling bad. Hey, that last incident, I keep thinking about that. When those inmates attacked us, I'm coming to work now and I'm feeling stressed or scared. You're never going to say that. And unfortunately, I think what that does is it leads to people building these problems up, and then you're leading to people going into detrimental habits that hurt them. Or unfortunately, in the worst case scenario, you're dealing with people who commit suicide on the job, and their coworkers like, I had no idea. Yeah, well, he couldn't tell you because he couldn't open up because he didn't want to look weak. And that's something that needs to be explored. And sometimes I find I have those conversations with people outside of the department, because they're more quick to hear that, because they're thinking, hey, if I did that job, I'd be scared every day. Yeah, you can, I don't know how you could do it. Whereas when you're working with your brothers and sisters, sometimes you don't. And listen, it's not right. It shouldn't be that way. You should be able to open up about everything. And that's why when I see somebody that seems a little off, I'll try to pull them to the side and talk to them and see if they're, if there's something else on their mind deeper, in a deeper level. And but it's hard to get people to open up, because that's the way, as law enforcement officers, whether it's police or whether corrections, you feel that you have to be tough all the time, and that can be a detriment to your health. Nobody can be tough all the time. We're going to have moments of weakness. We're human beings. The things that we see that are incredible things that most people don't even understand. But when we see these on a daily basis, that will affect you at some level. You may not even realize it, but it will affect you on some level. And you need to open up and talk to people about that and deal with that in a positive way.
Then we have to call Deborah, and she'll help us out.
Yes. Sometimes that's what it is.
Yeah. I had her on last week, and she's great too. And she understands that, like what you were just talking about. As I was thinking about her as you were talking, because I was like, she was saying stuff like that, and that's true. And like I said it to her too. Like, I think I was like 2 weeks on a job. So I'm on a call, and, we all jumped in the car because it was like a backup, and it was like big thing with the emergency squad. And I'm right there. We pull up. We all have our guns drawn. I'm like, holy shit, this is real.
Right,
because I had 2 weeks on the job.
Wow,
and,
2 weeks.
Yeah. And a cop from emergency squad shot this guy like right in the face, like right in front of me, and I'm like, oh my god, this just happened, And the guy's on the floor, bubbles coming out of his cheek, he's done, and I'm just looking like, holy shit, this is real,
Right.
and I'm like, oh my god. So I said to the other guy who had like 6 months more than me on the job, and I said, oh, are you okay? Because he was like, we were like the car right there, and he's like, Val, don't show feelings. Don't talk about it. Just do what you got to do and just keep going. Like, and I was like, oh my God. Like, I just wanted to hug everybody.
Yeah.
Like,
And you
for
know
a
what?
minute.
And that could
Like,
have,
because I just felt like, oh
that
my
happening
God.
so early in your career, that could have changed your entire, you could have just been like, I'm out of here. This is not for me. Or
no.
it could have went either way. I mean, you were like, okay,
true.
I can do this, but that is.
Like you said before, you have to like, you get this shell over you and then you learn.
Yeah.
Like from that point, I learned. Like then, the next week I was taking somebody down that hung themselves. Like it was like every week something was happening, and I was just like, okay. So I'm looking at the other cops, like their reaction,
Right.
and everybody's just like having a sandwich, who's drinking a cup of coffee, and it was just like, and I'm like, holy shit, this is
How
like
is that? Right.
weird. How
Yeah.
is this happening?
It's like your body can adapt to anything, and as law enforcement officers, we adapt to all these situations, and in one sense, that's really positive because you need to have that hard exterior to deal with what we deal with on a daily basis, year after year after year. The negative aspect of that is not being able to open up and talk to somebody when it's become too much. Like I said, I had two corrections officers in my career who were good friends of mine who both killed themselves. And you live with that, the after effect of that, and wondering, I wish they had said
what
something.
could I
I
have
wish I could
done?
have spoken. And we had a correction officer that I work with who was also a state delegate named Kenneth Burkert, who got involved with Cop to Cop. And I know he's still doing that. And where people, if you have a problem, you reach out, you call up for help, and you speak to other people in law enforcement.
Right. It's a good program.
Since some people can't, find it, they're uncomfortable speaking to people who are not in law enforcement because they feel like they can't understand.
Right.
Whereas something like that, okay, there's going to be a cop, a retired cop that's going to take that call, and he's going to understand what you're dealing with.
And they even have correction officers to talk
absolutely.
to other correction officers because a cop don't want to talk to a correction officer. A correction officer don't want to talk to a cop because it's different
Right,
world.
they can see where you're coming from. They know what you've dealt with.
Right.
And that cop to cop program is a really good thing, and I support that wholly.
Right. They are good. You're right about so many things. Like my mind's like racing now because, people need to reach out, and like you said, they don't want to, and that's nice that you go up to people that might have a problem and say, hey, you're right, man. A little thing like that might have helped.
Yeah.
That they could talk to you for a little bit, even 5 minutes.
And you know what I find is that when I go up like that, most times, 9 times out of 10, they'll say, no, I'm good. And this, this is what I've learned. What I'll do now is when I see somebody that I think is kind of stressed about something, I could see it in his face, I could see his demeanor, I could see his personalities change. What I'll do is I'll bring up a conversation about myself. And I'll say, hey, man, I got to tell you, this and this happened, and I've been feeling kind of strange about it. And by me bringing it up first and talking about myself and my own situation, that is 10 times out of 10 more likely to make that officer say, oh, really? Well, yeah, you know what? I kind of had something like that too. But whereas if you just go up to him and say, hey, how you doing? You all right with that? Yeah, I'm cool. What? Hey, what are you talking about? This is nothing to me. I've been doing this a long time. And to try to get away with that, I find if I open myself up first, that then people are more likely to say, okay, yeah, well, and give you a little tidbit. And sometimes that little tidbit is all you need because you get that. Now you have something to work with, something to talk with them about. And that talking can go a long way.
That you do that. That's great.
Well, you know what? In a way, it's a selfish thing because I don't want to live with the regret of somebody I know killing themselves. That's a difficult thing to live with because you're always going to second guess yourself. You're always going to say, he did this or that. Maybe I should have known. You know what I mean? And so now when you see things like that, I think, you want to help them. And at the same time, you're like, I don't want to go through that again. So if you can help, you
but
do.
it's hard to pull stuff out of
Absolutely.
people. You're right.
You have to use mechanisms to do that.
The way you did that, that's great because you talk about yourself. So then obviously they'll talk about themselves. And that might work. I've seen a lot of guys not talk about and just, drink and do destructive behaviors.
Yeah,
like
I
you
remember
said.
one time there was a particular officer that I knew that he was definitely involved in some things that were going to hurt him, some habits that were going to destroy him, and I was trying to speak to him about it, and I really didn't know how to address it. So I called one of these. I wasn't cop to cop because they're good. I called another one. I don't want to say their name, and I called them up and I said, "Hey, listen, here's the situation. I got this guy at work, and he's a friend of mine." And they're like, "Oh, okay, he's a friend of yours, huh? So how are you feeling?" And I was like, "No, really,
It really-
it really is a friend of mine." They're like,
They told
"Yeah,
you.
yeah, it's okay. So what's your name?" I was like, "Oh, listen," I said, "I just want you to try to tell me what I can tell them." And they were like, "So how long you been on the job?" I was like, "Okay, forget it." They totally thought it was me. Then when I hung up, they're probably
Really?
like, "Oh no, we lost him." But
Oh,
meanwhile,
wow.
I was just trying to get some help to try to help him.
Oh man. Yeah, see? You never know, right? And a lot of people are afraid to reach out.
Yeah.
So many people are afraid to get help because of that stigma.
Right.
And they're afraid, of losing the job,
Right.
getting their guns taken away. It's a whole procedure people don't get.
Right.
Once you get your gun taken away, that's like your child taken
Right.
away.
Yeah. Listen,
It's
it
horrible.
it could be traumatic. It could be traumatic. There's a lot of people that I've spoken to in the past who, something has happened. They've gone through some things. And they're like, "Well, I didn't want to lose my job. I don't want to lose my." But see, that's the thing. This is what we do. It's not who we are. At the end of the day, your life is more important. Your family needs you. They need you as you are. They might need you as a carpenter. It may not be for this job, but whatever it is at the end of the day, you got to keep your life. You got to worry about the people you love, worry about your family, and get into some habits that are positive. Whatever you need to do to lift your spirits. Because the job is a tough job to do. You have to find whatever that is, whether it's faith based or whether it's just meeting with a group of people or just spending more time with your children, whatever it is. And people have different ways of dealing with things, but that is necessary. Because you need certain coping mechanisms to deal with what we do with on a daily basis.
That's true. That's for sure. I used to do that after 9/11. Nobody was talking. Nobody. Like, they should have had some councils like come into the precincts or something like that.
Right, right.
We have 4 precincts, and it was just like everybody was robots. We just, okay, go here, go there, do traffic there, block off that tunnel, block off the Holland Tunnel, block off the Lincoln, blah, blah, blah,
Sure.
block off the streets, don't let anybody in, check everybody, check their cars, do this, okay, blah, blah, blah. And everybody, but nobody was talking about anything like that they were feeling.
Right.
And you can't tell me they weren't afraid, because I know I was, and I can admit it. And I was like, I still did my job, but I didn't know if I was going to come back home and see my son again.
Right.
I didn't know what was going to happen again after that.
Sure.
Because everything just was going on.
Yeah,
you know?
I
9/11, we're doing this, we're dealing with that. We thought we were going to have bodies. We didn't have bodies. We set up a triage for no reason, and we had parts. So that's what we had. And then anthrax happened like 2 weeks after that. So it was like, Jesus, like,
Yeah.
we're guarding mosques.
Yeah.
We're protecting them.
Right.
Like, it was crazy.
Yeah, I remember like right after that happened, in New Jersey State PBA had asked each delegate from the different locals to put together a team of officers to go down. And they were actually, what they were going to do is they had a big tent set up. And really what you were going to do is you're going to get down into ground zero. You were going to get on these quads, and you were going to deliver out to these firemen who were working constantly around the clock, and these emergency workers, Gatorade, water, hamburgers, hot dogs, anything just to keep them sustained, because a lot of them had been just digging and working for so many hours on hours. So we volunteered to do that, and we were down there in ground zero. And I remember just looking around at the entire scenario. It was heartbreaking. It was like something that's almost beyond words, because it's something you never thought you would see in America. And there was such a feeling in the air. And I remember that at one point I was on a quad, and another officer that I worked with, John Popovic, was on another quad, and we drove up with Gatorade, and these 2 firemen were covered in soot, covered from head to toe. And I they were sweating, they were working hard. I was like, "Here, take some Gatorade." And he looked at me and he said, "What I could really use is you guys driving us back to our department. We have to get back." And now this was not what we were there for. So,
Wow.
but I wasn't going to tell this guy, "No, as far as I'm concerned, you're a hero. Whatever you want, I'm going to do it."
Yeah,
Meanwhile,
really.
I'm a Jersey guy. I don't know my way around the city at all. So I turned to John and I said, "John, can you get us back?" And he goes, "Well, we're technically not allowed to leave ground zero, but yeah, I can get us back." So picture this. Right after 9/11, I'm on a quad. I have a fireman covered in soot sitting on the quad on the quad behind me with an American flag attached to the back of the quad. We're driving through the streets of New York, quad to quad, and this is one of when I think about this, I still get chills to this day. Picture in New York City how many people, thousands of people walking up and down a sidewalk. Well, as we were driving down that street, everybody stopped doing what they were doing, looked and clapped.
Wow.
And everybody was just clapping for this fireman behind me. I remember just getting teared up and just getting goosebumps on my arms and saying, this is what it's about. This guy is a hero. This is the kind of reaction that these firemen should be getting. And there's literally thousands of people just hustle and bustle of New York, stopped what they were doing, turned and clapped.
Wow.
And and that was an awesome experience. Listen, what happened was a tragedy, but you really got to see the heart and soul of what these first responders are all about, these firemen, these police officers, these heroes. And during that time, I think the public really did appreciate
they
us.
did for a minute.
They did hold people up to like wow, these guys are great. And unfortunately, time goes by, people forget. We have a short memory, and things change. But yes, that moment was an incredible moment, and those first responders, those police officers, those firemen, those are heroes. That's a term that we throw around a lot, but man, that was breathtaking. Those are heroes.
Yes, definitely. It was a traumatic time, and a lot of people didn't get help after that. Didn't seek the help I think necessary. I mean, the whole world was devastated. Never mind just us who were in it. Worked it. I was working days that day, and I saw the Twin Towers my whole life growing up.
Right.
I woke up, I saw them. I lived in Jersey City all my life. That's what we saw, and then they're gone. Yeah. So it was really horrible. And then when you have a child, I had a son and he was 4 years old. That's even worse because I'm like, oh my God, what's this kid gonna do without me? Right. I had a will done and everything. It was crazy. Because you don't know what the heck is gonna happen. Then you start to realize, you know what? You don't know from day to day if you're gonna be here today, gone tomorrow.
Yeah.
So
another memory I have of that was we were at Ground Zero, and a Port Authority police officers they had a tent set up right next to us. They came over to us. There was about 5 or 6 of us. And they were like, we were all from the jail. And they said, hey, can you guys give us a hand with something? And we're like, yeah, whatever you need, So we went over, and there was an enormous American flag, probably about 75 feet. It was torn, and it was laying on the ground. And they were like, we need to, military fold up this flag. And we don't have enough guys because it was so big that in order to do it properly. Now, I never spent time in the military. I don't know how to do that. But I was like, hey, I'm going to help you. Just tell me what to do, and I'll do it. And so the Port Authority police officers and the correctional officers, Union County Jail, we all got around, and we began folding up this huge, tattered American flag. And, the symbolism of it really got to us. And I tell you what, bunch of tough corrections officers, bunch of hardened Port Authority cops, and there wasn't a dry eye in that group. And we were a bunch of grown men crying as we folded that flag. And It was really a symbolic, touching thing of what was going on at that time. And it was just, that was just a, huge impact.
Wow. That definitely is. But like I said, I don't know many people that got help after that, which probably needed it. I'm sure you could have talked to somebody too, being there, witnessing that. There's stuff that you shouldn't have to see. And then there's stuff that we saw, like you said, nobody else will see, nobody else will understand.
And those things that you see, they stay with you. People think that they're not, but they're there. They're in your subconscious. You carry that around with you for the rest of your life. That becomes part of who you are.
Right. I don't know if you heard the show when I did with Deborah. She used wood and termites, the termites are eating at your brain. And then you need an exterminator to get rid of them.
Clean them out.
Isn't that cool? The way she said that.
I don't know. The idea of termites eating at my brain, I don't know. Is that cool? I don't know. It's kind of graphic. But,
which
yeah,
is
okay. All
that
right.
you need.
I end up okay in this scenario?
Help.
All right, good.
You need to talk to somebody to exterminate those. She's funny. I loved it because it actually made me think, And so I'm thinking of termites in my brain. I'm like, how many do I have in there?
It's a visual I didn't really need, but all right, I could deal with it.
How much wood do you have left? After all those termites ate it up. So, that's what I was getting at. Like, a lot of us don't seem to get the help because, like you said, you're supposed to be tough. You want to be tough. You want to be like the next guy. You don't want your partner calling you a punk,
listen,
a weakling, or whatever else they're going to call you.
I think that now that, hopefully, times are changing a little bit with that. And like I said, with groups like Cop to Cop and things like that, I think that hopefully the word gets out and people be more willing to speak to people and make sure that they're dealing with themselves, not just physically, but emotionally also.
But isn't it something we still hear about officers committing suicide? It's number one.
You still hear about it.
Profession.
It is a problem. But at least these avenues are opening up now, and at least like right now we're having the discussion. Think about it. Years ago there was no discussion on this. There was no discussion with opening up and talking. We'd be like, what are you talking about? I don't need
you
that.
weren't allowed.
Yeah, it's so.
I'm telling you, this is how it was when I first got on. They were like, don't talk about it.
Yeah.
And another time I was talking, and they were like, you don't talk about that stuff. You don't talk about it. Mm-hmm. You don't tell anybody about what you saw. You like go home and tell anybody.
Right.
So my mother would say, "Oh, how was work? Oh, good. It was nice. I had coffee and."
Listen, that's a difference. To this day, my mother thinks I work in Mayberry. I mean, if I told my mother what really went on, she would lose it. My mother, old Italian woman, Peter, what are you talking about? What happened at work? I'm like, nothing. We had brownies. What are you going to tell her?
Hot chocolate.
If I told her, she'd be traumatized. No, the mom doesn't need the truth. That's not where I'm going to go to have this discussion. But you should talk to somebody.
Right, definitely. But you can't, like I said, you can't talk to anybody in your family about it because first off, I don't know if they're going to understand. And like you said, when you have a partner, a significant other, whatever, that's another.
Right. Well, what the thing is, you don't want to unnecessarily worry people that you love. However, I think if it comes down to your partner, and I'm the last person who should talk because I'm perpetually single. However, some say dysfunctionally single. But having said that, I think that is somebody you should open up with. I mean, if you're going to have that kind of relationship with somebody, I think you need that kind of support system. You need to, explain to them what your job really is so they can understand. If you can't expect them to understand, people don't know. People really don't have an idea of a correction officer, police officer. They think they know, but they don't. And unless you open up to speaking to them, they won't know. So I think when it comes to a significant partner, that needs to be opened up to some extent.
Right. And I think that's why a lot of cops go out with cops.
Right.
Female cops go out. Mm-hmm. Well, there's some males that go out with males too, but that's another show.
Not that there's anything wrong with that.
But definitely, probably most of the female cops or correction officers that I know are married to or go out with.
Sometimes it works out that way. I know just from my job. We've seen countless inmates suicides kill themselves. You've seen officers. We had an officer that was brutally stabbed in the neck with a pen. We've had some really traumatic incidences that take place behind those walls. And people are people. Yes, you go to academy. Yes, you train. Yes, you prepare yourself. But at the end of the day, you're a human being. And there's things that are going to impact you. And they have to be dealt with in one way or the other.
That's true. But back in the day, most of the cops that I have on my show, they say they never told their wife anything. And I'm like, why? You wouldn't? No, don't want to, she wouldn't get it. She wouldn't understand. Right. Whatever. But I would want to know. Like, me being me. But that's me being me. So I don't know what it's like, somebody else, they're more fragile or whatever.
Sure.
That they don't want to tell them. Like, I don't know. I was never the fragile type. So I don't know.
Not a lot of
that.
Fragility going on over there.
No, right. I was never, that person. I wasn't the damsel in distress.
When you grow up in Jersey City and then you become a Jersey City cop, then yes, you're not.
Yeah, exactly.
You won't be fragile.
No fragile going on. And like I said, I had two older brothers and a father. Forget about it. So definitely that wasn't going on.
Yeah, so, that's why, I'm getting towards the end of my career. But if there's things that I can do to give back, like this Heroes for Heroes program, things that can help other people, I want to try to do that. I want to try to make a positive difference, try to make a positive impact. And if along the way, people who are needy get helped, and also if along the way, maybe somebody might look at a corrections officer in a different way,
That's awesome.
Then I've done
Like I
something.
said, my friend James Rice, he's a correction officer, and he's retired, but he said, it's great what you're doing and what you said. And, people need to see correction officers in a different light. Most people don't even understand what they do.
No. Matter of fact, if you say the term corrections officer, people will say, what is that? And then you have to
That's
follow
true,
it up with
'cause
jail
it's
guard.
jail guard.
Right.
Right.
They're like, correction officer, I'm sorry, what is that? Is there a correction department? What do you do?
Yeah.
And
Actually, this cop said that to me one time. It was like a joke. He's like, what are they called? Correctional. What are they correcting?
Yeah.
I'm like, I don't know. That's what they're called now. Because
Yeah.
we're so used to the old way, the jail guard
Right,
way.
right. And
The
you know,
younger people, I think, get it more.
Well, the thing is this too. Jail guard really doesn't make any kind of connotation of having law enforcement powers.
No.
Which we do have.
You're right.
So whereas a corrections officer, you're saying, hey, listen.
Well, they weren't allowed to carry.
Back in the day,
a
it
long
wasn't.
time.
Now my job, but I started in 1994. Now you're going back earlier than that, and also there's the fact that still in some places when you go down south, those corrections officers really are jail guards. They don't have law enforcement powers.
That's
so
true.
if you don't have any law enforcement powers, then I can understand that. So there is the demographics that play into it too. But the problem is that one of the reasons why you want to be known as correction officer is because since with that comes a certain understanding. For instance, when an inmate is looking at you as a jail guard, he's not thinking of any repercussions whatsoever if he does something to you. You need to expand his mind that, wait a minute, this is a corrections officer. Oh, I'm going to get 5 years added onto my sentence if I spit on you? Oh, that's different than before. You know what I mean? There's a lot of correctional facilities where, you have corrections officers who wear raincoats for how often they're hit with urine. Now, there's an aspect of the job that's not so great. You know what I mean? And you need to change that inmate's way that he's looking at you. It's like, I'm not a civilian. I'm in this place, in this town, I'm the police, I'm the mayor, I'm the sheriff, I'm the law. And then all the people that live in this town are all criminals. And it's me and my partner. It's Wyatt Earp and Doc Holliday, and we're in the Wild Wild West. But guess what? We are going to command your respect. We don't have a gun on our hip. We got a radio. But one way or another, we're going to command your respect. That's not a job everybody can do. But, that's why when somebody else turns around and says jail guard, you're like, jail guard wouldn't be able to do that. You better be a corrections officer to be able to pull that off. Because if those inmates don't respect you, that place will be chaos. If those inmates don't respect you, your life will be in danger. If those inmates don't respect you, that whole place won't function. So you have to get that
How
respect.
do you earn that respect from the inmates?
Well, first of all, you have to be, what they teach in the academy is fair, firm, and consistent. And what that means is, you have to learn how to say no.
You still remember that from 1994?
Yeah, you got to
Wow,
keep it in your head because you have to. First of all, you have to learn. You have to listen.
Consistent.
Fair, firm, and consistent. You have to learn how to say no, because they're there. They have nothing else to do but the term is jail off you. They're trying to find out ways to get over on you. They want to get something that they're not supposed to have. And you know what? The answer is no. I'm going to give you exactly what you're supposed to have, but you'll never have anything extra. Oh, CO, can I get a favor? No, I don't do favors. But if it's something that you're supposed to have, I'm going to get it for you. And what they'll understand is they're like, okay, you know what? They'll respect it, because in the end, they'll say to themselves, you know what? He's not being a jerk. He's giving what I'm supposed to have, I get. You know what I mean? If there's something that I'm supposed to be receiving, he gives that to me. But all that extra stuff, no. And it's a matter of patrolling your area. It's just like in criminal justice, they have that broken windows theory of criminal justice, where if you see a broken window and you don't address that broken window today will lead to graffiti tomorrow, and that graffiti tomorrow will lead to more of a broken down neighborhood, which will lead to more violence. So if you address that broken window, you can stop this domino effect. Well, it's the same thing in corrections. When you have an area of the pod or tier that you're working, if it's excessively noisy, you're going to shut that noise down. If there's something going on that shouldn't be going on, you're going to deal with that little thing, because all of those little things can spiral and domino effect into a big thing where that area now becomes an unsafe place for others to work. Where the other off, when you relieve your shift and the new officers come on, guess what? They're inheriting a lot of problems, and with those problems is danger. Because you're dealing with violent people, you're dealing with, in some cases, murderers, you're dealing with gangbangers, and it can be very dangerous. But if you do the job correctly, and if you do what's supposed to be done in a firm fashion, and you're consistent with that, it means you can't be wishy-washy. One day you're okay, and the other day you're no. And they get to understand who you are, and they know when me and my partners walk into an area, they go, okay, it's Famia and his partner.
Famia, don't play.
We know what the deal is. Don't even bother. But if you have a couple rookies come in, and you'll see the demeanor change. Well, they'll be like, oh, let's see if we can
get over
on these rookies. Let's see if we can do that. And that's something you learn. Listen, it's not like I learned everything from the academy. You learn by doing, like anything else. 23 years in, I got this down to a science. I'm also ready to leave, but I've got it down to a science.
Now that you got it down to a science, he's ready to leave.
It's time to go. Almost.
That's funny. That's great. But, that's good advice, to young officers coming on. What other advice do you have for a young CO entering the jail?
The biggest thing I would say is hold on to your empathy. The first casualty of corrections is empathy. What'll happen is you will have people lie to you. You will have people try to trick you. You'll have people try to get over on you. And after a while, if you're not careful, it'll leave you very jaded as a person, and that will spill over into every relationship you have. You will very quickly find yourself not trusting, not believing, always looking for, I don't think that doesn't sound right. And that could spill over into with your girlfriend, your wife, your friendships. So you have to be careful with that. Hold on to who you are and hold on to the things that you believe in. And you're going to learn with the job. And the job is going to harden you, but don't let that job affect you to such a degree that you forget who you are and you say, well, this is who I am. I am a corrections officer. That's who I am. No, it's what you do. You're a person. The values, the things that you believe in, your faith, your love for your family, you hold on to these things. You go into work and you do a good job. You stay fair, you stay firm, you stay consistent, but you hold on to who you are also.
Love it. That's great. Good advice. Good job, Famia.
Famia.
For you. So, no, that's great advice for a young officer coming on, or any other. Actually, because people do forget who they are, and they're like, the job is who they are, and that's a little weird, but I've seen it.
Right.
I know it, and I've seen people like that, and that's why they stay on 35, 40 years.
Yes. Oh yeah, we got some at the jail too. Like,
oh
absolutely.
Man, they're like with a cane. They don't want to quit.
They're holding on.
It's crazy. So now, you want to talk about your Heroes, the charity, one more time? So
I'm just encouraging everybody to come out, whoever you are. It's really a great cause, and like I said, all that money goes to the Special Olympics in New Jersey. How do you get to Roselle Park? How do you get to Roselle Park? Probably a car. I'm not encouraging you to walk there. It's what exit on the Parkway? Really, I wasn't prepared for this. I'm gonna say. Let's see, what's Clark? 135? I'm going to say it's probably around 138, something like that. Roselle Park, New Jersey. It's 7 o'clock at night at Frenchie's Bar. It's a really good time. I mean, last year we had a lot of people come out and everybody had a blast. It's May 26th. That's a Friday night. It's a Friday leading into a holiday weekend. And you know where you don't want to be? Yeah. You don't want to be on a turnpike. You don't want to be on a parkway because guess what? You try to head down the shore, you're going to be spending hours and hours
Don't come
in traffic.
By at me.
Yes.
Don't come down the shore.
Yeah. What do you mean you? You better be at this fundraiser.
Really.
Where you want to go is to Roselle Park. Go to Frenchie's, and like I said, we're gonna have so much food there from every different kind. We have a Cuban place, Portuguese place, we got Italian food. Oh, we're gonna have so much different food there. It's gonna blow your mind. Then I got a lot of people that are cooking cookies and cakes and this and that. We'll have everything spread out. We'll have a live band that's gonna be rocking. It's gonna be no entrance fee, no cover charge. That food is free. That live music is free.
All the food, everything's donated by
everything is donated by local eateries.
How did you get those donations?
Well, you know what? Working at the jail, We have to order food into the jail a lot because we're there. We can't leave the facility. We're not like police officers to get to drive around. So we're there
And eat for
to
free.
get food. No, yeah. I don't know if you eat for free. We're not extended that courtesy. Nobody wants to give me as a correction officer free food. I've never
Did
had
I
that.
say that? No.
But anyway, so since we've ordered from them for so many years and we've never really come to them for anything, now we go up to them and say, I said, listen, we're doing this for the Special Olympics. And we'd like you to donate food that we can give to people who come to the fundraiser. And you know what? Without a heartbeat, they're like, yeah, what do you need? I have places like John's Cafe in Elizabeth, like I said, Carmine's Pizza Factory in Jersey City, Algarve, Valencia in Elizabeth. These places, Magic Fountain, they give us trays and trays of food.
Really?
Lydia's Cuban Kitchen. It goes on Cafe Americana in Cranford, that they donate this food for free. And like I said, we have it all laid out, nice and hot and delicious. You're talking about so many different kinds of food. You go up, you help yourself, eat until you're stuffed. You know what I mean? Listen to the music, have a great time. And then all we ask is that from your heart, you give a charitable donation. Whatever you feel like you want to give, you give that. And that's all we ask for.
And you make the checks out to?
Checks are made out to the New Jersey Special Olympics. We collect them. And like I said before, every single dollar goes to this cause. The Special Olympics, they're a great organization. If you have some time, you Google that. Google New Jersey Special Olympics and see what it is that they do and how much law enforcement is involved in what they do with the polar bear plunge and the torch run. And it's really awesome that the law enforcement community in the state of New Jersey has gotten behind this cause and how much they raise, millions of dollars. It's an awesome thing.
Do any civilians run?
No. The torch run is all
Just
law enforcement.
all
Yeah,
enforcement
it's all
only.
different police departments, sheriff's departments, corrections that are all running with the torches. And then this year it's on June 9th is the actual torch run. And last year I was able to go to the College of New Jersey where they actually have the opening night of the festivities. And I actually was there with some of the other departments where they actually light the torches and they have all the participants in the games there. And it really is a humbling experience. I mean, when you see these athletes and what they're overcoming and what they're accomplishing, it puts your life into perspective.
Yeah, really.
That's what I'm saying. Like, we all have problems. We all have, life is hard. But when you look at these types of situations and you see what these people are accomplishing, it's so humbling. And I'll tell you what, it makes you want to give. It makes you feel really good about doing the right thing. And what we're hoping is a lot of people come out, Heroes for Heroes, Union County Corrections officers will be there dressed in our superhero outfits. We'll be doing meet and greets. You want to take pictures with your favorite superhero? That's what we're going to do. We have one guy that dresses up as Deadpool who's now trained his dog. So his dog will be Dogpool in full costume.
Really?
And his dog will be there taking pictures with you. We're going to
That's
feed you. We're
awesome.
going to have a great time. And all we ask is that you give from your heart. Give a charitable donation to the Special Olympics in New Jersey from your heart, whatever you feel like you want to give.
That's beautiful. Thank you for doing what you do, and thanks to the other correction officers for doing what they do, and everybody that runs in this in the torch run. It's amazing, how so many officers are always willing to help, the needy, help, underprivileged. People don't see that part of us. They just say, oh, the cop, blah, blah, blah,
Yeah,
locked this one
yeah.
up, gave a ticket,
Often.
he's an asshole, blah, blah, blah. Whatever. The correction officer was mean to me, whatever, all the negative. This is something so positive, and it's great, that you guys are able to do it, and you're able to run in that costume. That's amazing. I think I would last like 5 minutes. Yeah, thanks, James Rice, but I don't think I could be a Supergirl.
Right.
Maybe 10 years ago or so. But I definitely couldn't run. Well, actually, the girls are not as bad as Batman and Superman.
Some of the costumes are hotter than others.
No,
but
and Spider-Man are really.
Spider-Man is really
Yeah.
difficult. He's in great shape
You don't
to
see
accomplish what he
anything.
has to accomplish.
Yeah, because they gotta have Superman here. He doesn't have a mask on.
Yeah, well, that's why the smart thing is to pick a super character that doesn't have a mask. It tends to make breathing a lot easier.
Yeah, really.
But masks come with a lot of characters.
The Hulk
so.
is a.
The Hulk is a tough. He's a big guy. That's Officer Kenny Lang. He's a huge guy, and it's for those big guys. I have another guy. His name's Officer Kukan. He's about 6'5" and over 300
Lord.
pounds. He runs as Colossus from the X-Men, and he's such a huge guy, and yet he gets it done. He ran last year and he finished, and I was like, wow, I tip my hat to you.
Really?
Yeah, it's not like you're talking about some young, thin, long distance marathon runner. Most corrections officers have some size to them, So it's so it makes the run a little more difficult when you put that gear on.
Yeah, really, because you're inside. You're probably bored sometimes. You just want to eat. I don't know. I would. I would be eating. That wouldn't be the job for me.
Yeah, well,
I'd be like 500
you know
pounds.
what? Like in some ways, the correction officer job is like a fireman's job because when there's not a fire going on, you have your downtime. But then
That's
when the
true.
fire hits, you better get up and get ready
Oh,
to put
they
that
eat
fire
good
out.
too. Let me tell you.
You better put that fire out. When the fire
That's
hits at the
true.
jail, it's time to act. All your training is going to come into effect very quickly.
Oh, that's for sure. That's definitely true. But I want to thank you for everything that you do, and thank all these the restaurants and the
Yeah, absolutely. All these restaurants that
30/30 MC.
The 30/30 MC is a great club, and they sponsor us every year. Just a great bunch of guys that they're made up of law enforcement from Port Authority, Union County Jail, and a lot of other police departments too. They
That's
sponsored us
awesome.
last year. They did a great job. The guys at Frenchie's
And the
are
band.
amazing. The bands too. They're just a bunch of really
all
good
these
people.
people of volunteering their time. I'm sure they could be doing something else.
Exactly.
And time is money, so they're not getting paid, obviously, and they're using their time. And I really think that's awesome, and it's for a very good cause, and it's for Special Olympics, and these kids need the help that they could get.
Yeah,
and I'm sure
absolutely.
I've seen them running, kids with Down syndrome and all that, and in a wheelchair.
Yeah. Yeah,
Like-
and and they're amazing athletes. They're competing and doing things that are extraordinary. I mean, the Special Olympics are really something awesome to behold. It's incredible, and the purpose and drive that they have. It, like I said before, it's very humbling. And if you look into it, you'll be even more willing to want to be part of it because they're doing so many good things. The state of New Jersey Special Olympics, they're way beyond anything else in the country as far as the amount of contributions that they're doing, and that's really law enforcement backed. It's really something that law enforcement has picked this up as their own personal thing that they're going to make this a success, and they have. All we've done is try to come up with a different way to draw even more attention to it. Our thing is, okay, well, yeah, you've got all these things going on. It's great. Well, how can we as a bunch of corrections officers help? And that's what we came up with the Heroes for Heroes idea. We're going to become these different heroes. We're going to put on these costumes, and the reaction has been tremendous. Especially with children that have really been excited about it, and we've been able to accomplish a lot with it. And I want to keep going. I want to keep furthering this.
They must
and
love
do
it
more
when
good.
they see you guys.
It's a really
must
big thing for
really-
them. It's a really big thing for them. And you know what? It's pretty good for us too. Because
Yeah.
when you do things like this, you leave there feeling pretty good about yourself. And even it's just a small little part of your day that you're putting towards something positive like this. But like I said before, we as law enforcement officers, you're letting a lot of negativity seep into you every day because you're exposed to things that regular human beings are not exposed to. It's just not part of their daily life. So it's also important to let in that positive energy too. Life is a scale, and you can't let that negativity pull that one end of the scale down till it's touching rock bottom. You've got to even that out. And this is one of the ways. This is one of the ways you bring some light into that darkness. And believe me, with you coming out, being part of it, supporting it with any way that you can support it, you're going to feel good about yourself too. By helping people who are in need, you become that hero. They need you. You're the hero to that person. And it's a good thing for them, and it's a good thing for you.
That's great. That's true. I think you should be on radio.
Do I have to change my name to Femia, or can I keep it Femia? I know sometimes
like
you have to
the
change the
Femia.
name.
Maybe
All right,
we'll
well,
do
listen,
Femia.
I see what you're doing now. So now when I retire, I have to work here. So
Yeah,
Not only do you want to give me a job,
I'm giving him a job here
All right,
already,
we'll
Danny.
talk about it. We'll talk about it.
So, it's gonna be my co-host here. So you'll bring in the funny side. He's not giving you the finger.
I saw some guy in the back. I thought he was giving me the finger. Obviously, that's some kind of hand sign he gives her. I was like, what? Did I offend this guy? What's going on here? He's giving me the bird.
Oh my God, that's funny. But you guys, I want to commend you again, for all you do, and you made me even see a different side of correction officers. Actually, because I had a few correction officers on James Rice, and but I don't think they explained it as well as you did for whatever reason. It's a different job, yes, but the only thing really they don't have is Title 39 and in the police academy, which is car stops and stuff like that.
Yeah.
That's the only thing basically they can't do is car stops. But like you said, some correction officers give you guys a bad name.
You don't
and
want
put
those
cherries,
over ambitious guys.
Yeah,
put
put
lights on
cherries
the
in their
dashboard.
car,
Yeah.
lights in the
There's always
dashboard.
going to be a couple bad seats in every job. Let's not dwell on that. Next topic.
Yeah.
How do I pronounce my name again? Yeah. Oh, the Yankees game. Yeah, they were awesome last night. They won in extra innings.
I know you love that. But no, seriously, you guys do a lot, and like you said, you don't get recognition at all because you're inside.
Yeah, and you know what? At this point, I don't know that we ever will get recognition, and I don't know that that's definitely like any type of an inspiration for people. I don't think you become a correction officer seeking recognition because you're not going to get it. And the fact of the matter is, like I said, most people view the profession as a whole in a negative way because of their limited knowledge of it. So you go to your job and you do the best job you can do, and you take pride in what you do. You help your partner helps you, and you go home feeling good about yourself. Having said that, if there is a way of educating the public, if there is a way of getting out behind the walls and introducing yourself to the public, you try to do that, because it's not just good for you as a person, it's good for your profession, it's good for listen, I'm thinking about when I'm gone in 2 years, there's still going to be a bunch of friends and family guys that work at that jail. They're still going to be there, and I want it to be good for them too.
Right.
And how do you do that? You're going to have to come up with different ways. When law enforcement officers want to raise funds for a good function or for a good cause, you go out into the community that you're in, that you patrol, that you know these people. They know you. They see you every day. They don't know us, So you have to come up with different ways, and that was part of what gave birth to Heroes for Heroes. You might not know me, but chances are you know Batman.
Everybody knows Batman.
So, yeah, it makes it easier to approach people. And then after you get past that, and they start talking with you and laughing with you and telling stories, and then they're like, oh, you're a correction officer. And what's that all about? What is that? It's jail guard. Oh, jail guard. No, yeah, no. All right, let me tell you why we're called correction officers. And you know what? That little conversation causes a little awareness, and one thing leads to another thing, and you hope you accomplish something good at the end of the day.
That's great. That's great. Any last words?
My last words are Heroes for Heroes fundraiser, May 26th. It's Frenchie's Bar in Roselle Park, New Jersey, 7 o'clock. Come on out. It's going to be a great time. Don't miss it.
Hopefully we'll see a lot of people out there. We should do a live show.
Yeah, that'd be great.
We'll do a Facebook Live. You're coming too. But thank you very much. I appreciate it.
Thanks
and
for
everybody,
having me. I appreciate
make
you
sure
having
you
me
go
on.
to our new site, Blue World Uncensored. And it's Saturdays 9 to 11. And if I'm not here live, we do a repeat show. So you always get a great show. And I always have the best guest. And thank you very much.
I appreciate it. Thanks for having me on here. It was a great time. It's a great time. Heroes for Heroes.
Heroes for Heroes. And we have Batman live. Thank you. Have a great weekend. And be blessed. And God bless you.